What's good everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video we're going to be talking about if you should track calories / macros. And yes, if you're wondering, I made my bed just for this video. But before we talk about if you should track macros / calories or not, we have to talk about if it's either necessary in the first place. So it's much more important to track calories when trying to lose fat compared to building muscle. That's because you have to be in a calorie deficit for losing fat. That's just basically eating less than what your body burns and needs throughout the day. And yes, a calorie surplus will help when you're trying to build muscle, but you don't need it, so it's not as important. So that's pretty much just why. Sure, you can build a lot of muscle and lose a lot of fat without tracking calories. It's nothing magical to it, but it will be a lot more accurate because that's literally the only factor when it comes to losing weight, not building muscle. Oh, there's a lot of factors to that. Cardio is a factor. Cardio is a factor. Well, cardio burns calories, not fat, so no. So to answer today's question of today's video, yes, you should. But there's more to it, you need balance. Because a lot of people that track calories and macros get a bad relationship with food because they're over obsessed, they're always thinking about it, so they're trying to be accurate to the fucking gram of the protein, for example. But in reality, that's not gonna matter because you can never find out 100% what your macro should be. But obviously there are ways of estimating it and finding it out pretty accurately, but never 100% though. So don't get caught up making this crazy ass weird gross food just hit zero on the protein, carbs, fat intake. And by zero I mean that you don't go a gram over and not a gram under. I did that in the beginning, it was not fun, it didn't give me any extra results as well. So I've said that you should track calories, but I've also said that you kinda shouldn't because you're going to get a bad relationship with food. So what the fuck do I mean by that? If you don't know, macro stands for macronutrients. That's basically just carbs, fat, and protein. It's not the same as micronutrients, so don't get that wrong. That's also important, but that's more for health and not for building muscle. So if you've never tracked calories before in your entire life, you should do that for at least 3 months. The reason you want to do that is so that you can get familiar with the foods that you're eating, so that you can literally just eyeball it and you know already what calories and macros are in it. It's going to be super good for you in the future. So if you've never tracked calories or macros, 100% do that shit right now. It seems complicated in the beginning, but it's much easier to follow than a stupid ass meal plan, okay? I would only recommend meal plans if you're worrying about things on the micro level, and you should only be doing that if you are going into a contest prep, which I think none of you are. So don't be on a meal plan, it's going to restrict you as fuck and it's going to be boring. You want to get the best results, but you also want to do it fun, right? So fuck doing ton of extra work and getting zero extra benefits. I hope you agree on that one. And after you've tracked calories for a couple of months, you're finally aware of the calories that are in the foods that you're eating on a day-to-day basis. So that means that you can eyeball it. You don't have to spend time getting the app, writing it down, searching up stuff. Yeah, it only takes 20 seconds to do it once, but the thing is, if you do it all the time, you don't do it once, you do it all the fucking time, every day, every week. You should be good as long as you're tracking calories in your head because you have a good understanding of what the foods that you eat have, because you've tracked for a couple of months, so you already know that. And just focus on eating protein stuff as well. Most people overeat their protein, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. Okay, so now you're eyeballing, you're tracking with your head, you're not as stressed as you used to be. But now what? Are you going to do that forever? No. But if you are in a deficit, you should definitely track calories and macros no matter what, because that's literally the only factor to losing fat, as I mentioned earlier in this video. Let's say you're in a deficit 2 months out of a year, and the rest of the year you're bulking, you're lean bulking of course, so you're bulking in 10 months. And in those 10 months you should about track calories on the app for about 2 months. You don't need any longer than that. And why specifically? Well, the first reason, your diet changes. Do you honestly think that in 10 years you're going to be eating the exact same? No. You're probably going to get new favorites, and even if you eat the same, probably different brands. So that's just a way of learning calories and macros for the new things that you're going to eat. And the other reason is pretty obvious, but that's just that you forget over time. So at least me, I have a shitty memory, so if I'm going to eat something now and track calories now, I'm not going to, or if I keep eating it, I will remember the calories and macros for it in years. But if I stop and I go back, I'm not going to be remembering it because I have a shitty memory. and you probably won't either. So that's just like to refresh your mind and keep remembering what you already know. I hope this video helped out. Yes, you should track calories, but not 24/7, and you should track it in your head and eyeball the food you eat most of the time, because yeah, a lot less stressful, and when you already know it, you don't need to waste a lot of time looking it up in the app, and so it's like so stupid. But I hope you take my advice on this one, because this is something that I'm implementing for myself, and I really want you to do it as well, because it's boring as fuck to track calories all the time, but you should do it. So I hope this made sense. Do it until you understand the foods that you're eating, and then stop it, eyeball the food, track it in your head, and like a couple of months in a year, go back to tracking calories for the reasons that I just mentioned. And that's honestly the best way of tracking calories. I'm a wise young guy, you better listen to what I'm saying now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, please subscribe, and you're not going to share because who the fuck does that, but if you do, I'd appreciate it, of course. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!